Hello guys, welcome back. Today I'm gonna be covering some of my more, I don't know, tactical folding knives, I guess. Um, I like these knives as tactical knives because one, they're durable, they're heavy duty, they can be used as a normal EDC knife, but they have some quality that differentiates them to be a bit more of a tactical knife. The first two I'm actually gonna be brief on because they were in my previous video because they're a little bit more expensive. That would be these two. So that's the Manix XL. Great tactical knife, amazing grip, handle, all that, strong as hell. The second one being the ZT-0350. I think this is probably a pretty tactical or a classic tactical knife. Recurves is good, heavy duty, very solid tactical knives. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on these because I've already covered them in my last video, which I will link for you guys. The first one, I'm actually going to kind of start with like my most and least favorite tacticals. Um, some of these are a little bit pricier. Some of them are pretty inexpensive. This one's pretty inexpensive. By Camillus. It's got the little G10 disc. So the way that this works is there's no thumb studs, there's no flipper, nothing like that. It's this little disc. And when you push down the disc and kind of slide it in the groove, it opens up. And you can actually get pretty good at this, just like a normal flick. You may not be able to catch that, but you just do a little bit of a wrist flick and it comes out really quickly. Very strong, very inexpensive. AUS 8 steel. Good tip, very thick, heavy duty. This is a good large EDC knife, but I think it's also a really good budget tactical knife. It's got good reach. It's a 4-inch blade. And for the money, you can't really go wrong. I mean, it locks up pretty well. There's no wiggle. Blade shape is awesome. And if you like the longer, slimmer EDC knives or pocket knives, I think this is a great option. The next one is actually another pretty budget. So this is the CRKT Crawford Casper? Oh, Crawford Casper, yeah, design. So this one I actually have never really carried, but it is, I just thought it was a badass blade for tactical. Very big, very heavy, like solid blade. It's a little deceiving how thick this blade stock is because of the swedge, but that point is insane. I think it's GRN or just some type of plastic handle. There's not much grip on the handle itself, but because of the finger grooves and the jimping and stuff that's on here, you get a really good purchase on the hand. It is a very good kind of heavy duty knife. Now, they do have this little lock, which I mean, I have to say does work, but I don't really know why it's there. This is a popular design with custom maker. But it's really good, inexpensive, very comfortable. Pretty comfortable in both directions. But that's another one, Crawford Casper, CRKT. The other one's actually going to be a pair. So I ordered these. I was very curious about these, so I ordered them. These are actually Lansky branded knives. So this is designed by Williamson, Urban Tactical, but they're made and produced by Lansky, the knife sharpening brand. So this one is 12C27 steel, the Sandvik, which isn't a bad steel. It's a decent budget steel. I think it's on par with 440C. It doesn't look like that blade's all the way out, but it is, trust me. And then I have its little brother as well. This one, I believe, is in 8CR13, yeah. So 8CR13 MOV, again, the exact same thing in terms of shape, just scaled down a little bit. If I had to pick one, this one is probably my favorite. I like the larger feel of it. It fits the hand a little better. This one feels a little cramped on the fingers, so you feel a little bit like your hands hanging off a little bit, and I don't know, it doesn't give you quite the confidence that this one does by holding it. But these are actual, I mean, these are designed and for tactical use. They're very thick. These liners are incredibly thick, but they're very smooth. The thumb studs also act as the blade stop up top, so very heavy duty. Haven't really used or carried these all that much either. I just thought they were a cool pair. Never seen anything made by Lansky before. They do have a little bit of a different texture on the handles. This, I believe, is a true G10, and this is more of a glass reinforced nylon. So this one's a little bit, I would say, a little higher end, but barely. I mean, the steel, I would say, is a little bit better. Materials are a little bit better, but it is also a little bit pricier. So these are the Lansky Williamson tactical blades. Pretty neat. The next few are, they have a cool feature that most of you guys probably know, which is the wave feature. So this is the CRKT Emerson. I've not brought myself to purchase a normal Emerson, or I'm sorry, this Kershaw Emerson. I've not brought myself to be able to buy a normal Emerson. I think for the 154 CM and the build quality that they've had in the past, I just couldn't pay those prices. I would be able to buy 15 of these knives for the price of one, and I think quality-wise, this may even surpass Emerson. It's got a lot of the same qualities, maybe a little bit lower end steel, but generally, I'd probably even choose one of these over an Emerson if I had a choice, just because of their quality control issues. And Kershaw is very known name in the game. Steel frame lock, definitely a good lockup on that. G10 handles, awesome blade shape. This thing also kind of melts in the hand because of the way that groove is. It says great grip, but the big thing is it's got that wave feature. So when this is in your pocket and you pull this out of your pocket, it grabs on and flings the blade open, so you can pull it directly from your pocket open. It's a little smaller. I think this is a smaller end for a tactical knife, but they do have larger versions. I just like this one. I think this is the 7. They have a lot of variances of this that are part of the Emerson lineup. This is a Spyderco. VG10, Seki City. It's that Emerson Wave patent. So that's kind of why I'm sharing these together. So this is a Japanese-made blade. This is an awesome tactical blade. Again, you'll notice that they're narrow, usually longer, a little bit more of a broad blade, because piercing you want kind of narrow like this, and wide and kind of thick and heavy duty and pointy, because most of your tactical needs will be stabbing, not so much slicing vegetables and stuff, so they don't really care about that all that much. I do think a lot of these knives would make great EDC knives. I have carried this knife in particular quite a bit as everyday carry, and it works wonderfully. You can see the pocket clip has some use on there. Nothing else shows any use at all. This blade steel has been phenomenal. Usually I'm not a fan of VG10, but Spyderco, they did it right. I love this blade. It's a little fat, little wedgy, but it's okay. It's very stout, very good, very heavy duty blade. Never had an issue. This is a wonderful blade. I prefer this one over this one in terms of capability use. I think you'll just get a better use out of this, but this is a fantastic blade. If this is what's in your budget, you can't go wrong. I just like a lock back a little bit more. Fit and finish on this is quite a bit better. And the blade shape to me is a little bit better. But wonderful knives. Emerson Wave is a very, very tactical feature. Some people even take normal Spydercos and cut that in just so they can have this wave. I think this is the Endura, I can't remember. I'll leave links to let you guys know for sure. Another one that I carried a little bit, but I kind of fell out of love with it for a few reasons. This is the Gerber. So this is 154 cm USA made tactical knife. This reminds me of like a tactical version of their Gator series, their folding Gator. I actually do really like this knife. The reason I kind of fell out of love with it is these are kind of sharp. And so when you're grabbing it and you're using it, it really cuts into your hand quite a bit. I don't even mind the blade shape on this. I typically am not a tanto guy or tanto guy, however you want to say it. But this one, I didn't mind it all that much. Two things I didn't like. I feel like the blade is a little small for the handle. I feel like they probably could have gotten a little bit more blade in there. Maybe not. Maybe it's just a visual balance thing. But the other thing is that those handles cut into your hand. It's just difficult to really like this when it's kind of uncomfortable to use. But for a tactical knife, let's say you just want a tactical pocket knife, or you just really like the look of this. I mean, that blade shape is pretty sick. Very strong tip. Tanto blades are known for that. Easy to sharpen, not had any issues. Feels pretty high quality. The coating on the blade hasn't really rubbed off, and I've used it quite a bit. Not as much as some of the other knives, but I have used this thing, carried it quite often for a while, and then just kind of moved on to something else and didn't really miss it. But it's a great little knife. Also a lockback. I don't know why I like lockbacks. I just like them. Another USA one though. That's what I liked about this one too. This is when Gerber was starting to get back their good name in my eyes with this series. They had two similar to this, both USA made, 5154 cm. They were just starting to come back. So this was I was an early adopter of their new stuff, but I really like this. The last one, most of you will know, is one of the most iconic tactical blades, and that would be the Recon 1. Now this is the OG. This is the one made in Taiwan with AUS 8 steel. So their new versions are probably quite a bit better steel, but I have this and I've used and abused this thing, and it's done very, very well for me. This is the normal Recon 1. They do have a couple of different sizes, and their new ones have XHR, I think is the steel, and or S35 VN, which was the same price as I paid for this AUS 8 version. But I have had really good luck with this AUS 8. I think Cold Steel did a grand job with it. All G10, very heavily textured, tiny little pocket clip though. I did take some sandpaper underneath that pocket clip. You might be able to see some of those small smooth spots because this was destroying my pants. But the little sandpaper, just kind of pull it out real fast a couple of times and you'll sand down that G10 really fast. You want to talk about the beater knife. This is actually from a lot of batoning. So I actually batoned wood with this. And I didn't do the classic trick where you do it like this and you baton this way and try and do it. No. I locked it, I held it, and I was batoning with this like a fixed blade. And this thing did not budge. The triad lock on Cold Steel knives is just incredible, guys. If you don't have experience with the triad lock in terms of actual use, you really need to look into it. It is amazing. It is by far my favorite, most secure lock. I think it's the strongest lock out there. I don't think any other one comes near it. Now, it doesn't have the cool fanciness that the other, Benchmade or anything like that, or the new SOG, SOG's Benchmade style axis lock, but it doesn't have the flair. But man, solid. I mean, if you can hear that click, that is confidence. I mean, that is just pure confidence. Perfect. I mean, it melts in the hand. If you needed to, you could choke up. Done it a few times. There's not exactly a finger choil there, but you can do it pretty comfortably and safely. I've used this thing for camping as EDC. This is a very large knife, but if you like big knives and you want something that you can just beat on, I've never seen one of these break, ever. I've never seen an axis lock break. And if there was any knife that I feel like should have broken, it would have been this one. This, yeah, and that's enough of the axis lock, but this is the original Recon one. I would definitely like to pick up an S35 VN version since that is my favorite steel now. But at this point, I have no need to because this thing has held up beautifully. So wonderful. If I was going overseas, let's say, I'm not in the military, but if I were to go overseas and need something that I would trust my life on that was a folding knife, I think this would be an excellent choice. Possibly my number one choice. It's just wonderful. I do have two honorable mentions, and I don't know if these are necessarily tactical knives. I think one of them is trying to be, but it's very cheap gas station ninja type knife. The other one is the Kershaw Knockout. Now, the blade shape may seem like that. It's got a quick opening. It just kind of has that tactical look. But the reason I'm not going to consider this one necessarily a tactical blade is because it has no grip. Everything is very smooth. It could be a tactical blade, I think. I think the blade length is just enough. It's pointy enough, it's strong enough, but the only reason I would say that this isn't a tactical blade is because it has no texturing, no grip, no jimping. It's more of an EDC blade. But if they could add maybe G10, heavy grippy G10 or micarta or something, I think this would be a wonderful choice as a tactical blade. But it just falls short. This to me feels like ZT. This is like, I know Kershaw makes ZT, but this feels like ZT. The quality of this thing is phenomenal. The pivot, I mean, everything just feels wonderful. It's aluminum scales, but it's got a stainless steel insert for the lock bar, which is phenomenal. The only other one is, I'm pretty sure I actually got this at a swap meet. It's one of those very classic, cheap pocket knives. It says stainless because it's probably a 440A garbage stainless, but I've had this knife for 20 years. Got this probably not hardened glass break. I've never used it. It seems pretty blunt, I'll be honest. The strap cutter I've used, it's got a little bit of gunk on there. But I have used this knife. I did carry this knife when I was younger, maybe 15, 16. Got a little bit of wear and rub on the top there from use. It says SWAT. You know, grabbed my attention as a young teenage boy because it said SWAT, but believe it or not, it's a pretty comfortable knife. I've used this. I've not had any issues. The sharpening actually kind of held up. I am pretty impressed with such a cheap little knife. Had no real issues with it. Detents lackluster. There's no assisted opening. It's very basic. I probably paid $15 for it, if that. But it's a cool little knife. It's just a little cheap. It doesn't have texturing or grip, but it melts in your hand enough with these flares and stuff that you feel comfortable holding it, carrying it. Horrible pocket clip. This is tinfoil soft. But yeah, those last two are more honorable mentions, I think. I wouldn't trust them with my life, but the other ones I think I would. So what's your guys' favorite tactical knives? I know that hawkbill knives are pretty popular. Emerson makes a couple of hawkbill knives that are pretty interesting. CRKT I know makes some. Cold Steel has a few. But what are your guys' favorite style of tactical knives? Are you a Tanto guy? Are you a guy that dedicates a knife to tactical? Even if you aren't in a profession that you need a tactical knife and just like them, like I do, what's your favorite style? Do you dedicate one? Do you have an EDC and a tactical? Do you have a knife that can do both? What's your go-to? Do you even care about tactical knife? Are you more of a classic pocket knife guy? I fall somewhere in the middle, I think. I think if I wanted to, my knife has to be able to protect me, but I also want to be able to cut apples. So I ask a lot, but I think that's what most knife guys are like. But yeah, let me know in the comments if you like knives. I've got a lot more still coming. Maybe I'll give you a little sneak peek over here. A lot more over here. So I've got a couple of other videos yet to do, but yeah, let me know. I appreciate you guys stopping by. Feel free to subscribe, watch my other videos. I will link to a couple, as I mentioned in the beginning. But all right, well, until next time, talk to you guys later. Bye.